I'm Mark with Ooika. My job at Ooika is to grind matcha fresh using imported Japanese Ishi-Usu matcha mill stones. These are large granite stones that mill the tea into the matcha powder. And in this jar, I have some matcha that I am grinding right now fresh. This is out of my mill within a few minutes. So I thought I would make some matcha right now and share it with you, but also talk about why matcha should be ground fresh and does it really make a difference. Now there's a lot of ways to grind matcha, big industrial machines, but that's not how we do it at Ooika, and that's not how it's traditionally done. Instead, you use these big granite stones. The granite is fairly soft, and that soft granite creates less friction. Less friction means less heat, and it results in a better product. It also results in a finer product. So this matcha right here is about 5 to 10 microns, which is very small. It's finer than baby powder. The fine quality of the matcha means that when you whisk it, it gets very foamy and there's not any graininess that you detect. Now the thing is about matcha, because we're grinding it so small, the particles are so tiny, what ends up happening is it can go stale very fast. It oxidizes right away. In fact, even if you're new to matcha, you would be able to tell the difference in taste between matcha that's fresh out of the mill like this within minutes and matcha just a day later. Now that freshness is kind of hard to describe in words. It's something that you can just taste. And by 1 month, that freshness has more or less evaporated. And after just 3 months after grinding, you've lost 30% of the antioxidants, which if you care about the health benefits of matcha, that's obviously not ideal. Now the problem is that grinding matcha is a lot more complicated than grinding coffee, but it's a lot less shelf stable than ground coffee. And just like you wouldn't want to buy nice high-end coffee beans and then grind them at home and let them sit out for a year before you drink it, you definitely wouldn't want to do that with matcha. Now the problem is that grinding matcha is so difficult, expensive, and it's traditionally done in Japan because you have to import large stones and machinery here in America to grind it in this country, that by the time that you get it in America, even from very high-end Japanese producers, it can be weeks, months, or sometimes even up to a year old, depending on who you're buying it from. In ancient times, matcha would be consumed immediately after grinding. You would grind it there on site right when you were going to drink it. But of course, that's impossible today. As scale has grown, matcha consumption has increased. It's just not possible to do that. So nowadays, matcha is ground in large batches and then just set aside basically until it's consumed later. Okay, here we go. Look at this. This is a perfect, in fact, all right, I'm going to be a little bit of a millennial and take a few Instagram photos of this matcha right while I'm recording this video. Okay, let's taste. Oh. Oh, that is just lovely. I really want you to be able to try this. It's so fresh, there's no astringency. It's very sweet and so creamy and smooth. This is the Uji Hikari cultivar, which we sell online from Shirakawa Uji, which is one of the top microclimates in the world for matcha, obviously. But there's something so unique and special about being able to try matcha fresh when it's right out of the mill. All the matcha that we sell at Ooika is fresh ground like this. And we even have a matcha club called the Matcha Mill Club, where on the first of every month, we grind the matcha fresh and have it packed and sent out to you within 24 hours so you can try just how incredible and sublime fresh ground matcha is. But to answer the most important question that you probably have is, can you actually tell the difference? Does it actually make that much of a difference to have matcha that's only 30 days old versus 60 or 90 or 120 days old? And of course I'm going to tell you the answer to that is yes, but I want you to try it for yourself and see if you come to the same conclusion. In person, I've met people who are new to matcha, haven't really had it before, and I've given them matcha that's a month old or less versus matcha that's a few months old, and they can tell the difference. So I think you'd be able to as well. There's a quality to it, a texture, a lightness and airiness that is inherent in matcha that's so fresh, which makes sense because again, those particles are so small that when you grind matcha, they immediately start to oxidize, get exposed to air, and that assumes, by the way, that it's kept perfectly, which is in an oxygen-free, vacuum-sealed bag kept in a refrigerator. And that, by the way, is a video for another day, which is storage techniques for your matcha. If you want more matcha videos and content, be sure to follow. You can also go to our website, which is ooika.co, to buy the same matcha here that I'm trying, or experience other matchas that are single cultivar, single terroir from some of the most prized producers across Japan.